To understand this, you have to go back to what young brother here referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro. Back during slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Why, you left your mind in Africa. On that same plantation, there was the field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masses. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hog. The Negro in the field didn't get nothing but what was left of the insides of the hog. They call them chitlins nowadays. In those days, they call them what they were, guts. That's what you were, a gut eater. And some of you all still gut eaters. The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes. And he hated his master. I say he hated his master. He was intelligent. That house Negro loved his master. But that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority. And they hated the master. When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind, for a breeze. When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, pray for one, he said, any place is better than here.
moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam wa rasulullah wa ba'd, in the name of Allah, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we have a hella haters up in this piece, family. And family, you know, we started this journey here on the Feachaz way back. I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago. And we said, you know, we were going to deal with the issues of black folk, explicitly black folk, particularly in the Muslim community, and general black issues. And we really weren't planning on talking about the YouTubians. Okay, that wasn't the goal. The goal wasn't to go around speaking about, you know, YouTubers, sounding like a hater or anything like that. It wasn't about that. We just noticed some stuff, okay? We noticed some outrageous stuff, okay? And the things that we were noticing was so crazy and nobody was talking about it. It just encouraged us to talk about it even more. Like, for example, when Pearly, y'all remember last year when Pearl, Just Pearly Things, she started inviting, I think it was Tater, I can't remember who she invited, one of these degenerates, right? These degenerate fake Muslims, all right? She invited them to talk or whatnot, and then she started speaking about Islam and everything like that. And then next thing you know, she went on her Twitter, back then it was Twitter at the time, and then she goes, you know, I heard your Prophet Muhammad, married like a 9-year-old and had sex with all kind of stuff. She put that out on Twitter or whatnot. And then here come Muhammad Hijab to save the day, talking about, you know, why don't we come on my platform and debate? And I said way back then, okay? Because these guys, they didn't have a single thing to say about Daniel Hokikachu. They didn't have a single thing to say about Jake Shields. They didn't have even the people they're inviting with their outrageous, outlandish, outright racism. They have nothing to say about that. But they're out there on the streets like Ali Dawah trying to blast the Nation of Islam, while remaining completely and totally, utterly silent against white supremacy. And on top of that, inviting the white supremacists on their channels while remaining silent about white supremacy. And we said back then, you watch, because Just Pearly was on her way out when she made this tweet, and she's trying to get back in. And how does every white supremacist try to get back in? How does every white supremacist in 2024 try to revive their bombed out, dilapidated careers? How do they do it? They do it by going on Muslim platforms. That's how they do it. So family, first of all, number one's in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, I don't see any comments in the chat so far. I don't know if I'm talking to myself right now, but number one's in the chat if y'all can hear me. If the sound is all good, let me know, because we are coming in hot today, because this is a clear message to black imams in the West. It is a very clear message, in my humble opinion. Okay? It is a very clear and obvious message. 1 second, y'all. Going on Muslim platform. All right? So now, what you have now is, let me give you a little bit of history, okay? What you know as immigrants are in the West because of black people. All your Muslim immigrants are here because of black people. What do you mean? During the civil rights movement, just a quick history, a little bit of history here, right? During the civil rights movement, one of the demands during that time, during the 60s and 70s was or whatnot, was a reaction to what is known as the Homestead Act in the States, where millions, literally millions of farmland was given to white people to go to the States. And this phenomenon happened in the States. It happened in Venezuela. It happened in Argentina. It happened in Canada. It happened all throughout the West, but we know the most popular one, of course, is the US. And because of the Homestead Act is explicit to the US, because of this act, white people were able to get incredibly rich. You got to be a damn fool, okay? You got to be a damn fool. Free land, but not only that, they were getting funding to make farms on this land from the government. But not only that, don't stop there. Their children were being trained, they themselves were being trained, and their children being trained on how to farm the land with the newest in technology and farm technology during this time. And these same folks had the nerve to tell black folk to pick themselves up by the bootstraps. So during the civil rights movement, it was a demand from civil rights leaders at this time to allow immigrants from the country who were not European, because they sought allyship with other people groups. And what did the white supremacists do? The white supremacists made sure to build a system where they would pit what is now called a minority against black folk, and they are called now the model minority. And what you see in terms of this immigration crisis, you notice that the immigration crisis is only a crisis in black communities. You notice that, right? They are shipping immigrants all in the black communities, giving immigrants all over North America access to housing, jobs, all the kind of stuff, while black folk get to be homeless and stuff and things of that nature. Okay? But I digress. Why are we mentioning this? Okay? We are mentioning this because the immigrants, the same immigrants of today who have benefited from the black struggle, they didn't participate. They are benefactors of the work that we put in. They have no history of participating, no history of shedding their own blood, getting themselves arrested. Like zero history. But they reap the benefits now. They are the ones who are given access to loans and property through banks and whatnot to build the American dream off the black community. These folks, these are the very same folks now in 2024 that are telling you, oh, reparations is just a leftist talking point, and Black Lives Matter is Marxism, and all kind of, what did they say? What's this? Critical race theory is Marxism, all kind of craziness. They're talking crazy. They're talking crazy. So now we have this astonishing situation that you would never have seen this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You would have never seen this. You wouldn't even have thought this would have happened. Where your Youtubian da'i elites. Okay. I mean, this is absolutely astonishing. These people, like I said last time, they are the Ruwaybadah. They are the Ruwaybadah that the Prophet ﷺ was talking about. Youtubian da'i elites. It's them. It's them. We used to reflect and ponder about it back in the day. But there's nothing left to the imagination anymore. These are them folks, okay? And the only thing left for these YouTubian dad elites to do is to shave their cracks before they put their thongs on and torque it up for their degenerates, like Sneako and Tate and every other white supremacist they inviting on their platforms. And just as bad as this YouTubian dad elites, just as bad are the alleged Muslims eating that sugar-laced fecal matter calling it chocolate, which they are saying is dawah. Y'all hearing me? We are truly in the age of the Dajjal. I have zero doubt about that. These are the people that the Prophet said something that he spoke about. These folks, it's them. We are witnessing prophecy in real time, right before our eyes. When you see folks like what you call it, 5 Muslims, or what is it? I don't know, 3 Muslims and 5 pillars and all your major YouTubian platforms signing off on white supremacy wholesale, while black folks can't get it together. What are black folks doing? As Muslims, they're shooting each other up on Eid. And these guys are making some very serious moves. But I digress, okay? You would be better off, like these YouTubians, they themselves, you'd be better off if you were just a consistent flunky. You know, if you would just kiss white men's asses and agree with everything they say, that would be better for you. We know that's what you want to do, but you can't just do it yet. But you are so obviously brazen and feckless with your opportunist carpetbagging, with as many large far-right platforms you can try to get your draws into. You're just trying to get in where you can fit in. Your whole existence is based upon selling out and calling it dawah. So you're saying that you're making dawah, but what you're really doing, your dawah, is a dawah to white supremacy. So any white supremacist whose career is over can have their careers revived like Pearly. So many of y'all contacted me when you saw Muhammad Hijab interviews Pearly and you know, send me a message, bro, you called it, bro. Of course I called it. Of course I did. That man is Negro Damas. Are you kidding me? What am I like like what you call it? I can see the future. Ain't nothing like that. When you see trends, you can't just close your eyes to the trends. This stuff is not new. It has happened before. Those of you who know history know all this stuff is not new. The only thing that's changed is the technology and the breadth and the width and the speed of the carpetbagging because of the technology. Y'all hearing me? Your YouTubian elites, between all, how many of them, none of them have any original thoughts or ideas. None of them at all. All they do is they piggyback off the clout of degenerates like Sneako and Tate and Pearly things, and that's it. Right? And Fresh and Fit, and you know, you saw Ali Dawah trying to make a Fresh and Fit podcast. Okay, you saw it with your own eyes. You saw that crap. All right? I didn't do it. You see, family, Iblis, he was the first apostate, was he not? Iblis was the first person to leave submission to the will of God, correct? Which is Islam. But why did he apostate? Was it his disbelief in the existence of Allah? Was it his kufr and shirk and worshiping other things? No, it wasn't any of that. He apostated because of his belief in his innate superiority over Adam. That is how he apostated. But he didn't just stop there. He began to rationalize it. It's one thing to believe anything, and he believed this. He already believed it, but he began to rationalize it. He began to justify it. And he said that it was the way that Allah created him as compared to Adam, which made him better. He literally said that. He said, right? He said that you created him from the mud and you created me from fire. That's what he said. But he didn't stop there even. He did not stop there. He had this belief of superiority. He justified the belief of superiority. But he didn't stop there. He also claimed that even though he is superior, okay, and he's created better, he also claimed to be some target of some injustice somewhere inflicted on him by Allah himself. He said, because you have put me in error, I will surely sit and wait for them. Who put him in error? Allah put him in error. And because he is saying, you have put me in error, I will surely sit and wait for them on your straight path. Now, family, the command from Allah was for Adam to what? Bow down. All you have to do is bow down to Adam. All of the angels bow down to Adam except for Iblis, correct? It was his arrogance that fused his back straight to befriending him to bow down, and then he blames Allah for it. Okay? Right? But don't stop there. He says, then I will come before them and from behind them, and from the left of them, from the right of them, and you will find most of them ungrateful to you. Now, when you look at the white supremacists, do they not have this innate belief that they are superior to black folk? Yes or no? One's in the chat, please. But not only do they have this innate belief, but they try to justify it. Do they not? The white supremacists? They write entire books about it. We put out some of the books that they put about it as well. Literature about it. They make entire sciences about it, like anthropology, criminology. Do they not do this? Evolution. Is this not their way? But don't stop there. Do not these same folks claim the white man's burden in order to justify their unending oppression against black people? Just like Iblis. They come from before us. They come from behind us. They come from the left of us. They come from the right of us. They just don't leave us alone. How is it that Muslims in 2024 can't leave us alone? We ain't talking about them. Where are these black Muslims in the way of these foreigners and stuff, that they make it a point to constantly and aggressively be in our business? So they are of, like the Bible says, you are of your father, the devil. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. He is a liar and the father of lies. That's these folks. Well, family, what is going on right now, it hasn't been more brazen. It hasn't been more in your face. The only thing really left for your YouTubian elites to do is just openly say N-word, which Sneako, by the way, has tried to actually justify. We should be allowed to say the N-word in Islam. He actually said this. And it's only a matter of time, because these folks are shucking and jiving, twitching and twirling and twerking so hard for a Sneako that they will actually allow this. Mark my words, you heard it here first. You will see your YouTubian analysts talking about, oh, there's nothing wrong with saying the N-word. That's coming. Just like I told you about Just Pearly things, just like I told you about these guys reviving the careers of dilapidated white supremacists, this is coming too. And these folks have millions altogether combined of followers. And the black imams are absolutely invisible. They are totally invisible because of this disease that black folk have of not actually dealing with their issues. How is it that if you want to hear about this stuff, you got to come on the Feachaz to hear about it? Why ain't anybody else talking about this? Why I got to be doing that? I don't even want to talk about these folks. I don't want to talk about these folks. I don't consider no white supremacist. I don't care if he got a beard dragging on the floor and a turban up into the first heaven. If he's a white supremacist, he's not my brother. He is not my brother, and I will go to Allah saying that. Do you hear these folks quoting ayat and hadith to justify their positions? No, I'm justifying my position from the Quran itself. You ain't going to confuse us. You carry the exact rhetoric of Iblis himself. We will meet on Yom Kiyama. You and I and every single, all of you, hundreds and thousands of whatever, white supremacist Muslims. I ask Allah to strengthen us in our resolve to remain upon the truth. Ameen. Especially in these times. Ameen. May Allah make us strong and firm and never allow the enemy to get a hand or a foot or any angle over us. Ameen. You're not going to put the wool over our eyes or over some Salaam Alaikum, let's be brothers and let this ride and let's slide and all the kind of stuff. That ain't happening. And more black imams need to take that position. And they should not be shy about it. Because if it wasn't for the black imam, there would be no Pakistani imam, there would be no Indian imam, there would be no Arab imam in the West. They out here thanking the very colonizer that destroyed their lands. And it's not even figurative anymore, it's literal. What you talking about, Bilal? What you talking? You talking crazy again, Bilal? Yeah, I know. But you know me, I always come with receipts. I always come with receipts. The black imam right now, it is in a very precarious position. Because as I said many times, I don't believe that the black Muslims in the West were not infiltrated. I believe they were intentionally infiltrated. Their institutions intentionally, what's that word? What I'm looking for? Provocateurs. The provocateurs were sent to the black community, and it was done very, very efficiently and cheaply, like it always is. This is us. But we have a generation coming up now, alhamdulillah, that is learning from the mistakes of our elders. And we ain't going for that no more. We ain't begging nobody for no brotherhood. Those days are long gone. And for the black imam, you know I love the black imam. you know I always ride for the black imam. Now, we are pretty much at the cliff's edge right now when it comes to this stuff. Because the entire Muslim community on social media has turned against black people, like wholesale. And you don't have to do anything for people to turn against. This is what black folk have to understand. So we ask Allah to make us the hujjah against these folks in this life and in the hereafter. Ameen. May Allah make us a hujjah against them in this life and the hereafter. Ameen. We are coming with Quran. We are coming with hadith for our positions. All they have left with them is some rhetoric they learned from some white supremacist somewhere and try to Islamify it. That's all they got. Zero taqwa and all a bag of hot air, okay? A bag of hot talk and hot air and all kind of stuff and work for the oppressed. And now Allah has sent this big fitna to Palestine. May Allah relieve them from it, I mean. And now these folks know what colonization is. And now these folks know what racism is. MashaAllah. Allah is exposing them in the dunya already. Hypocrisy thick enough to cut with a knife. But I digress. Remember we told y'all we did a live a couple of weeks ago about Sneako and Christ is King. Remember that? And why he said it? And we did, y'all can go check the live anyways. And we said that your Tubian elites signed off on that wholesale. Kufr, shirk, openly. No problem. No problem. If Sneako says it, it gotta be true. This is what the Dow has gone in 2024. Well, let me show you something. Look at here, family. Sneako again. I hate talking about this dude so much, man. He is such a turd and a degenerate and a numbskull, and I have really nothing good to say about him at all. Right? And I find it astonishing the amount of social media, Muslim social media moguls that are running behind his crack, reaching under his legs, trying to jiggle his balls. It's totally mind-boggling to me. I don't get it. But here's Sneako again. Colonizer is the dumbest modern insult. Sneako family. You overpowered a nation through conquest, you piece of S. You piece of S, okay? That's supposed to make me upset? Would much rather be victorious warlord than a BLM nerd in a mask. That's Sneako family. MashaAllah. Sneako, who has no problem saying the N-word. As a matter of fact, he's giving fatwas and everything. We could say it's the N-word in Islam is no problem. He running around here talking about Christ is King, and what's Ali Dawah signing off on it. Don't let him forget that he signed off. Never let him forget that. Okay? If y'all watch it, I'm not sure how many of y'all watch. I know most of the people who watch Feachaz probably don't watch Ali Dawah, but people who watch Ali Dawah, right? And if you know them, you don't let them forget that Ali Dawah said that, yeah, sneako is okay and correct in saying Christ is King. Never let them forget that. Okay? 2024 Dawah, family. Don't let them bat an eye when it comes to that Christ is King stuff. Now here comes Sneako saying colonizer is the dumbest modern insult. The N-word is fine, no problem. You see what Sneako, mashallah, you know? He solved the Gaza crisis with a tweet. He basically solved what's going on in Israel, family. He did it. Muslims take the L. All Muslims should take the L. Because like Sneako says, they overpowered a nation through a conquest, and we are the pieces of S. Mind you, your Utopian Daniel elites, they're the ones who created this mess to begin with. They did this. Dude been Muslim for about 5 minutes. And look at this, y'all. Sneako been Muslim since yesterday. And he's on that authentic ill mission flyer right here. Not him. That's his funny looking self. The master of ceremony. With a whole bunch of other YouTubians. The Muslim Lancer on there. Gabriel Romani on there. This is what the Dawah turned into. We told y'all before that Kareem Abu Zayd, he's a weirdo, man. He's a massive weirdo. This is what's happening. So AIM really, it's like the low budget version of Yaqeen Institute, except for the alt-right. They didn't learn their lesson from inviting Daniel Hikikuchu. They didn't learn anything from that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
They learned absolutely nothing from that. So now they got to double down and invite a Sneako who is saying, nothing wrong with being a colonizer. Nothing wrong with being a colonizer. White supremacy at its finest, family. This is what's going on. Mind you, might I remind you that Sneako, again, in solidarity of the gold medal winner in the 2016 Olympics for bedwenchery, Candace Owens, said that Christ is King. And Ali Dawah came out and said, yeah, Christ is King. Yeah, and who said it's haram to say Christ is King? Yeah. Remember that? And how dare you refute our brother Sneako for saying Christ is King? Don't let these folks forget that stuff, man. Sneako doesn't want to be called a colonizer, but he wants you to say the N-word. Sneako, who is the career victim, mind you. He is a career victim and a snowflake. and somebody who does not take criticism well at all, is now crapping all over the victims of colonization, which just happens to be 90% of the Muslim world, and every country in Africa except for Ethiopia. So essentially, from the Quranic standpoint, he is essentially pro-Ad, pro-Thamud. Those folks were the same way. They used to conquer people. They used to use their might and their strength in order to overpower people, did they not? That's exactly what Sneako said. What does the Quran say about Ad and Thamud? There are people of might and strength and wealth, right? And they use their might and strength and wealth to overpower and conquer people, correct? He's down with that. He's pro that. And not a single YouTubian that elite had anything to say about this. Not one. Not a single one. But you want to see some of the comments? Look here. Look at some of these comments, y'all. Yes, I destroyed you and your ancestors. Mine are better in every single way. Ad and Thamud, family. Look at this. Somebody put out Nick Fuentes. You can't make this stuff up. And here come a butter biscuit Muslim. Israel will be the butter biscuit Zionist. Israel will be the victorious warlord over Gaza. See, these folks they don't read like Sneako.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The only books clearly the only books he reads are the ones with naked women in them. That's it. That's the only books he reads. And the pages are sticky from his genetic material. That's it. Otherwise, he does all his reading on Twitter, like most Muslims today. And that's why they think that white supremacy is Islamic, because your Tubi and Dai elites are making white supremacy Islamic. You get it? They don't read books. They read this stuff. Go to Sneako's Rumble today. You will be shocked. You'll be absolutely shocked. Ramadan just finished. On his Rumble, he got Nick Fuentes, some other white supremacist people. He got, what's that guy? Zerka, trying to get Zerka married with all these $2 hoes on his channel. And you know what else? Let me show y'all. Y'all gonna trip when you see this. You think I'm tripping? These are who a huge chunk of Muslims in the West are following today. If you look at the biggest Muslim channels, these are who they're following. You want to see something? Y'all ain't gonna believe this. You think I'm tripping? Watch this, y'all. Sneako gives his wife a whiteboard to communicate instead of speaking. That's a real tweet from Sneako Updates. Look at this. Can you imagine?
No, okay. Right, anything you want to say here? Okay, great.
Can you imagine?
So, how are you? They can't see.
This is the guy who is the master of ceremonies for the AIM conference. What kind of Islamic mission is this?
ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
This is an Islamic mission? Y'all are tripping, man. So for the black imams, the truth is there is no more time or room or space for all of this infighting. Josh said that's not his wife either. Dude isn't married. I believe that as well. So what does that say about this guy? That the Muslims are putting in front of the Muslims, and the Muslims are accepting it wholesale. Who wants to be like? I want y'all to think about this for a second, right? Imagine Yom Kippur is coming, right? There's no doubt about it. Y'all gonna be every one of us is gonna be raised on Yom Kippur. Naked, uncircumcised, okay? And all we'll have with us are our deeds. Who wants to go be punished by Allah in the hellfire for Twitter? Who wants to do that? Who wants to go to the hellfire for a Facebook or a YouTube? Because you followed some clout chaser. You could have followed authentic Islam. You could have done that. There's more than enough information to do that. But instead, you opted to have your senses stimulated by content creators. And you got mesmerized by people you have no right to be mesmerized by. Like these folks, they are not articulate. Let's be real. They're not saying anything. They're not the sharpest pens in the box. But what they do have is the ability to get around social media. That's it. That's all. The putting like nonstop content. If that's what you do, then eventually you're going to get some following. If that's all you do, you have to, right? And Sneako, his whole thing is to try to attempt to be as edgy and controversial as possible in order to go viral. That's it. But he's not the sharpest pen in the box. So if you're following somebody like that, but not only that, imagine chasing somebody like that. Putting on your red panties and perfume for somebody like that. As a grown man, chasing him down. Putting him on streams and stuff. Saying you're going to make dawah with him and stuff. Like, what is that? Like, what? I want y'all to think, like, so those of y'all who know the scholars in the ulama, right? Can you imagine, for example, just for example, right? Sheikh Saleh Fawzan, Hafidullah, chasing down Andrew Tate to make dawah. Can you imagine him doing something like that in Saudi? Forget that. Can you imagine even him chasing even me to go make dawah somewhere? These dudes are some of the most shameless people I've ever witnessed in front of a screen. Ever. Absolutely shameless. However, my disdain for them has nothing to do with the fact that their followings and their reach is incredibly large. So, a proctological irritant like Sneako can be put in front of the masses of Western Muslims, no problem, because of the influence of the influencer. Has nothing to do with Quran, has nothing to do with Sunnah, These people need more eyes on their channels. That's all they care about. And they're willing to sell out the entire religion in order to do that. So black imams, y'all need to seriously wake up, because I see some of the topics y'all are covering on YouTube and stuff and things of that nature, and you guys are not even in the conversation. This is not 1990. This is not even 2009. We're in 2024. We got a lot of issues to deal with. Ain't nobody care about the sunnah of miswacking. And sorry to say it like that, but you don't put that stuff on YouTube. Leave that in the message somewhere. The difference between ha and ha. We don't need to hear that on YouTube. That's why nobody watches you. You think YouTube is a place to teach astronomy or something like that? It ain't like that. Don't you see what's going on around you? People are running circles around you. And not only that, they are very eager to throw all black people under the bus, over the cliff, and into the ocean. So this stuff that we've been doing for the last 30 years, it has come to a close. Y'all don't have to like me if you don't want. Okay, I know a lot of the black imams, mashallah, they watch, but they watch in private. They watch in secret, right? They don't come and say, I'll be watching it for you. They can't do that. Right? I get it. But there will come a time where you won't have a choice. Because we've been doing this before, long before y'all. We've been standing up for you before you were standing up for you. And eventually, you black imams, you are going to have to unite. You're going to have to get together, and you're going to have to bring the community together and make actual movements, which does not require for begging money for a masjid, begging money for a school, but rather tangible things that the black community can do in terms of economics, education, security within the community that actually makes sense. That stuff. Ain't nobody want to hear about no Usul al-Thalatha in 2024. I'm sorry. Usul al-Thalatha is a great book, mashallah, memorized it myself. Okay? But if you are not using it for the betterment of the community, why you need to be teaching it for another 30 years solid? Why you need to be doing that? You are stifling the community, and these guys are running circles around you while talking crap about you at the same time. You might not want to you might not like to hear it the way I'm saying it, but it's the truth. Every other community right now is making moves. The government is against you. The government locks you out of economic progress. White folks don't want to see you get ahead. The immigrants coming out here, getting rich off of you. And the best you can do is refute another Negro somewhere for believing Allah's above the throne. That's the best you can do. That's the best you can do. Meanwhile, these immigrants have a wholesale accepted open white supremacy. They got no smoke at all for the colonizer. The same people that bombed out their countries, they're aligning with them. What do you think they're going to do against you? So, as I was mentioning before, we need to be the hujjah on the earth as well as on Yom Qiyamah. Because as the saying goes, if the whole earth is against you and Allah is with you, then who can be against you? Right now, the whole earth is against us. The whole earth. The Asians, the Arabs, the white folk, everybody. We ain't done nothing to nobody. Like, we literally done nothing to nobody. And they still find ways to come after us. Did Adam, alayhi salam, did he have to do anything to Iblis for Iblis to hate him? No. Adam literally didn't do nothing to Iblis. Adam ain't got no smoke with Iblis. That didn't stop Iblis from hating him. That didn't stop Iblis from getting him kicked out of the garden. That didn't stop Iblis from attacking his children. These white supremacists are the children of Iblis. You don't have to do anything to them. But you do have to do the things to get Allah on your side in order to get his protection. And a whole bunch of theory, Islamic theory, and Surah Al to teach you that ain't going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. A whole lot of talk and yin-yang, that is not going to cut it. The Imams have, the black Imams, they have the ability to know who's in community, who can network what. And there is way too much work to be done in the community to be putting grammar classes online. I'm sorry. Right now, we're at a do or die moment. So we can be the proof for Allah's existence on the earth. Because the whole world is against us. And if Allah is for us, it doesn't matter who's against us. We need to get Allah on our side. Which requires sacrifice. Putting work in, putting time in. Getting family stability. All these broken marriages, man. Allah bless the brother Shadid Muhammad. I mean, man, he been working with the black family since he got back from Medina. That's been his thing, trying to keep the black families together by himself, mind you. Nobody support him, but now he's finally starting to get the recognition that he deserves. But I digress, family. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. I think I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. I think I'm coming on tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma hamdik wa shadu an la ilaha illa ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.